Once we do this, I can't change anything.
Test, Jackie, let me know when you're ready.
Good.
All right, good morning, everyone. Come on, a little more energy. Good morning, everyone. Okay, it is great to see you here. This is a very exciting day. My name is Evie Hansopoulos. I'm the executive director here at Queens Botanical Garden, the best botanical garden in New York City. So this day has finally come. It's been a long time in the making. I came to the garden in January of 2022, and I was very excited because I heard that an education center was in progress and that in 6 months we'd be breaking ground. I was very excited because I have a background in education and youth development and had done a lot of work on climate change and sustainability, so I was like, oh, the garden is amazing for all those things that it does. But secretly, I was super excited because I was gonna get to wear a hard hat and then get one of those golden shovels and take pictures with our electeds and all that. But seriously, this has really been an amazing journey, and this is kind of the next chapter in our journey as we're here today for this groundbreaking. Before we do that, I acknowledge, we do have a living land acknowledgement here at the garden that we wrote in collaboration with Tecumseh Caesar, who is a member of the Botanical tribe. So I would like to read that because I think it will really ground us and help us really understand how this education center really ties in with that and supports that living land acknowledgement. So Queens Botanical Garden acknowledges that it is situated on the traditional land of the Botanical people, the first people of Flushing, Queens. We pay respect to the Botanical people, past, present, and future, their ancestors who have stewarded the land for generations, and their continuing presence on this land today. We honor these origins by continuing to steward the land with sustainable practices, love for community, and commitment to equity, as well as helping to educate the public about the history, significance, contributions, and impact of Indigenous peoples and cultures. So, we are here today to talk about the future of the garden, but we are also here to acknowledge the past, present, and future of the Matinecock people. So I just wanted to start with that. This building is the result of work of many, many people, many who I'll get to kind of later on in the program. But I really wanted to start off by just acknowledging and celebrating my successor, Susan Lacerte, who is here today, right there. Who, was here for 27 years, did such incredible work here at the garden, and really just left an amazing foundation for me as an executive director to kind of, come into, and also leaves a tremendous legacy as well. So Susan, we're so glad that you are here. We want to thank you for everything that you have done for the garden, and we're just delighted. Yeah. So we celebrate you today, yes. Thank you, Susan. And there's another person who I want to acknowledge kind of before we get started with the program, and that is my current deputy director. She was actually director of education and went to Susan and said, we need a new building, right? And so because of Rebecca, where's Rebecca? And she's got a construction truck dress on. I mean, that alone is incredible. But Rebecca, really was, I think, the catalyst, not only for kind of getting this off the ground, and again, there were so many people involved, but also has kind of taken this project to where we are today. And, she had been the director of education. When I came on board, we talked about would she go back to, being director of education, would she want to do operations? And she wasn't sure at first. And then I said to her, Rebecca, you really love talking about sewers. So I don't know. I mean, whatever it is. And she decided, you know what? Director of Operations. So she's really the person who has kind of managed this whole process, bringing us to where we are today, and then will also be overseeing just the whole construction with our contractor. So I just wanted to acknowledge Rebecca. So QBG, of course, has an incredible board of trustees that supports our work. I'd like to acknowledge our board of trustees who are here today. Just raise your hand if you're on the board of trustees. There we are. We've got Dimitri, Ed, Jenny, Lee, Nancy, James, and Jenny, yes. And then, of course, we have Raymond Jason, who is the chair of our board of trustees, who's going to come up and say a few words.
First of all, thanks everyone for coming. It's an amazing event and a beautiful day. Though the sun isn't out, but the rain isn't out either. So to me, that's a beautiful day. I think what Evie said was right, and the people that she points to, Susan, Rebecca, and Evie. For me, as board chair, those were the three people because Susan retired. And before we were blessed to find Evie, Rebecca stepped up and she ran the garden in that interim period and really held it together during a very, very difficult time following and during the end piece of COVID. And it was very important for us that she did. So it was amazing the work that she put in, the patient that she had. I've been coming to the garden since 1971. I can tell you, it's changed a lot since 1971, 1970. It was not a great place. We wouldn't be sitting here as smiley and enjoying ourselves as much if we were doing this in 1971. And it really was Susan's work to come in and turn this around over a 27-year period that made this garden as we know it today. And we were, as I say, blessed to have Evie come and take over from Susan when Susan retired, because Evie carries on in that spirit of growth and community and figuring out how to take this garden to the next step. And today we're really celebrating going into that next step, which is the building of the education building, the groundbreaking today. And I think we're all very much looking forward to seeing what this garden can become when it has a world-class facility, an education facility right here located in the garden. So we thank our elected officials, because without them we wouldn't be able to have a building. And we also thank the elected officials for having created a building that inspired private donations. We have the second largest private donation in the history of Queens. And that's because of what the government did. This is a real example of how government and individuals can work together to build something really beautiful and transformative, not only for the Botanical Garden, but for Queens and Flushing itself. So thank you all for coming, and my thanks to our elected officials who've always been very supportive, and to all of the donors that we've had who have made this a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. I really couldn't ask for a better board chair. Thank you so much for all you do for the garden and supporting the work here. We have some wonderful distinguished electeds here today, and also commissioner here and one on the way. But before we kind of get to that, I wanted to introduce to you the incredible and amazing Joan Krevlin, who is partner emeritus now, but she's still helping us here at the garden, who not only, was heavily involved in the design of this education building and spearheaded that, she also led the designing of the visitor and administration building. So it's incredible. And we have another project in the pipeline as well, an outdoor pavilion that's going to go right across there, and hopefully next year we'll have that completely done as well. So we'll be having another kind of ceremony again. So we have lots of incredible spaces here at the garden, thanks to Joan and her talent and her team's talent. So I'd like her to come up and just say a few words as well.
I have to say it's kind kind of amazing to actually be here and have to speak more than just drawing, since we've been talking about a project for over 10 years, starting this season. And I also want to do an acknowledgement. Evan Singer, who's been the associate in charge of the project, is kind of the person on the project, and Julie Nelson, who is that partner who couldn't be here, and Kelsey, who's going to help take it forward. So these things are always a team. And our team this time really included not just the garden, but DDC and DCLA. And from our perspective, this is the kind of project that shows you how working in the public realm is so deeply satisfying. Being to be part of making places that have such a huge impact on the community, and also that are mission-based. And we always say that architecture can be an expression of institutional mission. And I think that we invented that phrase, working with the garden. The projects aren't just about architecture, they're really about who the garden is and the community it serves, and as the place where people, plants, and culture come together and be stewards of the environment. It really inspires us to think about how architecture can make that a reality for everyday visitors. And we felt that very strongly that we're able to do that at the visitor center. It's amazing to be able to do it again. And this place, which is not just an educational center, but really connects water management and the experience of seasonal and daily change with the visitors, becomes part of the educational mission of the garden, and it becomes kind of tangible to the visitors. So we're very excited to see this project happen. It's, again, amazing to be here. Oh, and I have to say one other thing. I had one other thought I wanted to say, which is that the other thing we've been able to do in partnership with the gardens, every time we get capital money, we've somehow figured out a way to have it be as much about a garden as a building. So everything we've done here has said, this is a garden. It's only 39 acres. How do we have it be a garden? So how we, again, visibly manage water management with the rain gardens that are, and the wetlands that will be behind the building and part of the programming, the perennial gardens that will be in front. All of this becomes integral to the design of the building and reminds us that that architecture is more than buildings, but really is about communicating a very strong sense of place. And so we're incredibly grateful to be here and can't wait to see the shovels go in the ground.
Thank you, Joan. And just because I can't emphasize it enough, I had in my notes, shout out to Eben Singer. So again, I want to shout out Eben because he was heavily involved in this and also kept everybody on task. So thank you so much. Really so grateful for you. So I know Commissioner Cumbo is on her, I love that, real kind of updates here. She's I think still a few minutes away, so we're going to keep going. But we do have First Deputy Commissioner Eric McFarland here from the New York City Department of Design and Construction. So for those of you who might not be familiar, the garden, thanks to our electeds, get capital funding, allocated, right, for us to do capital projects. And then the folks at DCLA, which is the agency that kind of stewards our funding, they do the preliminary work and then hand it over to DDC to actually design and manage the project and oversee the construction. So this really is a partnership. There's multiple agencies involved, lots of different people, and DDC, of course, is integral to that because they're going to make sure that this is constructed and everything looks great. So I'd like to call up First Deputy Commissioner Eric McFarland.
Thank you. Good morning, all. So let me start by thanking the Queens Botanical Garden, DCLA, and the DDC team, as well as the elected officials and community members are here today. I am Eric McFarland, I'm the First Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Design and Construction, and we are basically the primary design and construction manager for the City of New York. We do it for 28 cities, including DCLA. And this type of projects are the type of projects that are very satisfying because they really, you can see it's related to nature, to people, to the use of the community use, and that's such as a park, a garden, libraries, rec centers. These are the projects that really very satisfying to actually accomplish. So I'm delighted to be here to celebrate the groundbreaking of this $30 million education building of the garden, for the garden. The new education building will embody the beauty and mission of the Queen's Botanical Garden by constructing a facility that is integrated in the garden. It will include 6 indoor and outdoor teaching areas for year-round programming for community members. This includes a teaching solarium, teaching kitchen, mini rooms, and standing in a beautiful green space like this, surrounded by flowers and trees, reminds us of Mother Nature's beauty and in keeping with the garden's mission. The new building has been designed with sustainable features. This includes solar panel designed to produce site renewable power and a storm runoff system that will be integrated in a bioswale system of rain garden, allowing for minimal input in the city's stormwater sewer system. The facility will also have a green roof. By the way, I'm an engineer, so I love this technical stuff. So that's how I'm getting in the weeds here. Right? The facility will also have a green roof. Innovative sustainability features will allow it to be LEED Platinum rated, the highest level of LEED sustainability, and we are very proud of that. I want to thank the GDC team here today, who is working hard on this project. Room Land, Alisa Gerber, Stephen Leon, Elizabeth Lowry, and Theodore Balan. I also want to thank everyone from BKSK Architect and our contractor SLS Co. Who are here today. And of course, Commissioner Combo, when she comes, for a continued partnership and our shared commitment to bring this great project to our community. And also a great supporter of ours is Borough Commissioner, President Donovan over here, who I'm sure will say a few words. Thank you everyone and you will see, and we'll see you all at the ribbon cutting ceremony in 2 years. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to hold you to that. Thank you so much, Deputy Commissioner. We appreciate it. I just, I also had shout outs to the team that he said. I wanted to add Noel Hunter, who was involved with this project as well. We also have Acting Deputy Commissioner Joe Krupe here as well. But again, thanks to hello?
Okay.
Room, to Alyssa, to Elizabeth, Noel, and just Stephen and the whole team at DDC. We really appreciate all that you do. All right, well, next, what? And Joe. Where's Joe? Oh, where? There we go, right there. Okay, thank you. I know that I'm going to forget people, so I just want everybody to please forgive me in advance if I fail to mention someone. This truly was a group effort. All right, next up, I have, someone who really kind of broke the mold, I think, when it came to being a borough president, right? I think you kind of think of a borough president in a certain way, and we have such a dynamic, wonderful, engaged, and really just talented and passionate borough president here in Queens, and that is Borough President Donovan Richards Jr. He has been a wonderful friend to the garden, supporting us, making sure that we have the resources that we need. When, just a little story, when we finally sent the project out to bid, that was in November of 2023, around then, when the lowest bid came back, it was $8 million more than what our project budget was. So it was like, what are we gonna do? We gotta get this building built. So we had raised some other funds for capital projects through the borough president, through council member Sandra Ung, who will come up shortly as well, and asked them, could we take that money for these other projects and move them so that we can get the education building done? And they were like, yes, and not only that, then they also gave us money for our other projects as well in the following years. So, and he surprised us on Thursday last week, we had a press conference here. So it was to kind of announce the $690,000 that we had gotten for fiscal year 25 to do some parking garden improvements. We also got that from the city council as well. But then he surprised us with an extra check for $1 million for kind of a redesign. Once the building is gone, those trailers are going to come down. So it's a plan for what's going to happen once everyone moves into the building. So I want to thank you for that. That was an awesome surprise. We were all of a sudden this big check came out of the bushes. in addition to the one that we knew we were getting. So please give a warm welcome to Borough President Donovan Richards Jr.
When she says nice things, I know it's going to cost me more money. Chris tweeted that. I didn't tweet that.
Always
open.
I'm gonna hold you to that too.
All right. Chris is a neighbor. That's why, you know. But truly, let's give it up for Evie, because getting this over the line is huge. And for Susan, my good friend, we go back, must be almost 15 years. Before I was elected, and I chaired the Environmental Protection Committee, and we worked collectively with Susan to create a Greener NYC initiative in the City Council. So all the City Council members who see that pot of money, that was us. We don't get credit for anything anymore when it comes to City Council, but all good. But let me just say this, I've been here two of the last 3 weekdays. I've started my morning here at the Queens Botanical Gardens. And it was really an honor to deliver over $1 million last week for a new welcome garden, new safety upgrades, and a new sustainability education quad. But that was really just an appetizer to today. We're getting the whole enchilada. Because today we're breaking ground on what will be the Botanical Garden, amazing new education center. And I can't think of a more important time for us to do this. This center is going to be such an important piece of the puzzle when we talk about climate change, sustainability, and resiliency. And it's no secret that Queens is on the front lines of the fight against climate change. And it's not just shoreline communities that flood anymore, right? We could go back with Councilmember Ung just a few years ago when we were hit hard by Hurricane Ida. Down the street on Peck Avenue, our neighbors drowned in their basements, literally. And now we can choose to just sit back and wait for the next flood and the next superstorm, or we can galvanize our communities around the principles of sustainability and preserving our environment for future generations. And I know what we're choosing today. What we're choosing today is to ensure that we are going to invest during a time when we see Washington, D.C. running and saying climate change doesn't exist. But we know right here in Queens County, as someone who represented the Rockaways in the City Council after Sandy, that we are on the front line. So today is really about education, and we're going to continue to invest in all of the principles and values that our communities need, and that includes continuing to build our nature preserves, as we did in the Rockaways, hydroponic labs in every school across Queens County. And it's the same kind of work that the Queens Botanical Gardens does every day. It's really about ensuring that the next generation has a place to come. We are planting a seed for future generations to combat what we know will impact this borough more than any other borough across the city. So I couldn't be prouder to support this effort. I really want to thank Evie and her team. I want to thank the Bluestone Foundation as well. Let's give it up for them, for all that they do. They've been firm partners in building affordable housing, and I know we've done a lot of projects together. Look forward to seeing this one done. To Eric, we get a lot of work done in Queens County. We secured over $2 billion to build out infrastructure. And I want to say DDC has been such a great partner in getting, 40 projects over the line, especially in Southern Queens. And Eric, I'm glad to hear that this is going to be on time and on budget. All right, so 2027, what are we talking? July 2027 or the July? All right, mark that down. But they have really been great partners. And to Commissioner Cumbo, thank you. I know she's walking in. I know she probably had to drop Prince off. I had to drop my son off this morning to school as well. But today we really get the smell of flowers in the spring and cool off in the summer and take a real leap of faith right here as we move into the fall in this garden. But more than anything, we are delivering a cleaner, a greener future for our families here in Queens County. And this is what we really deserve. This is about equity. This is about ensuring that we preserve those values. And this garden, Commissioner Cumbo told me to prolong it so she can get here. So you're here. All right, so I was giving like the extended speech. But let me just say, during a time when we see our values under attack, this garden is open to everyone. Our diversity is our strength in Queens County, and I'm so proud to represent this county that is representative of 190 countries and 360 languages and dialects. this park is a democratic institution that is open to everyone, no matter their socioeconomic status, no matter their race, no matter their socioeconomic status. And we're going to continue to preserve that and make sure future generations have access here. God bless you. Congratulations to everybody who got this done right now. Thank you. Let's keep planting seeds, Bob.
Welcome to Commissioner Combo. You can, don't worry, you can take a breath, grab a coffee or whatever. That's good. We'll get to you in a sec. No problem. Thank you so much to Borough President Donovan Richards. Like I said, a champion for the environment, for the garden, really forward-thinking, and just someone who we really appreciate here. Thank you much. So next up, I'd like to call up Councilmember Sandra Ung, who represents this area of Flushing, who was elected in 2021. So in the short time, so she took office obviously in January of 2022. In the short time that she has been in the city council has really just been incredible in terms of support for the garden. I think over 3 million. She's gonna have the number, I hope. But funded capital projects, so not just for this project here, like I described earlier, but for other projects that we hope to get off the ground soon as well. Support for our education programs, support for our operations. She always comes through, and we know how hard she advocates for the garden, and we really are grateful to her for doing that. So I would like to welcome and call up Councilmember Sandra Ung. Thank you.
Well, good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you for a very long-awaited moment, but we're here, and I really want to start by thanking my partners in government, Commissioner Congo, First Deputy Commissioner McFarland, of course, Borough President, who I know has partnered a lot with this particular project. I'm proud to secure over $3.4 million funding for this project right here. I'm someone who grew up in Flushing, so I've seen the Queens Botanical since 1980s. I came here as a child, and I have to say this place has really changed. It has transformed to what an amazing garden it is, and security funding the garden because I really believe in this garden. I really believe in what this garden means, not just for the Flushing community, but also for the broader community. And that's really truly due to the partnership of the amazing leadership from Susan. I know Susan for a long time, to Effie, to Raymond, to Pauline, to all the board. It's really amazing. So I've been here now 40-something years in Flushing to see what this place originally was and what it is. And I know this is just the beginning, because I know there'll be more. There'll be more we'll be doing with this Queens Botanical Garden right here. And I believe it's going to be, and I truly already believe it, best botanical garden in all New York City. Again, so happy to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Ung. We are very grateful for all you do for the garden and all you do for the city as well. Okay, next up. We're good. I'm just checking. I want to, we are going to call up Sarah Herbstman, who is on the Board of Trustees for Queens Botanical Garden, and also is the president of the Bluestone, the Joan and Norman Bluestone Foundation. And those two folks, Joan and Norman Bluestone, were wonderful supporters of the garden. She's going to tell you a little bit more about them. But the foundation, as you heard earlier, stewarded a significant gift to the garden so that when this building is completed, we'll be able to staff it and run our programs and have hopefully another gardener, a custodian, all the things that you need to actually operate a building. Capital funding is awesome, right? Because you get those buildings funded and paid for. But then you also have to think about, well, now that we're going to have, potential to serve more people, how do we do that? And so their gift, along with gifts from others who I'll mention after as well, I think is really critical to sustainability here at the Garden, not just environmental sustainability, but also sustainability as an organization. So I'm grateful to Sarah and all the trustees who are here today. I want to acknowledge Ira and Charles and Joyce, along with Sarah, who's going to come up and talk in a second. And also, I'll do that after Sarah talks. Okay, I'm going to rework that. But Sarah, you want to come up and say a few words? Sarah, who's the president of the Bluestone Foundation.
So we're really thrilled to see the start of construction of Joan and Norman Bluestone Education Center. So my aunt was Ira Charles. Joan and Norman dedicated their foundation to supporting the education of underprivileged students in New York City. Both Joan and Norman were natives of Queens who loved and were active in Queens Botanical Gardens. Joan was a longtime volunteer and donor and served as a trustee on its board of directors, as Susan and others know. They recognized that this quiet oasis had incredible potential and was a special asset to the borough of Queens. They would be so pleased to be here to know that they played a part in bringing this special project to fruition.
Thank you so much, Sarah. As I said, the building will be called the Joan N. and Norman Bluestone Education Center, and we are truly thrilled to have this building named after two very special people, and are grateful to the foundation for their generosity. I also I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a very special person who really helped re-engage the foundation with the garden again. Where is Frank? Frank Moravsky. Let's give him a round of applause, because he, first of all, has been an incredible supporter of the garden for many, many years, going back, 30 years. He was on the board, and then stayed in touch after as well. And shortly after I became executive director, worked to get a meeting with the foundation to come and talk and see what was possible. And so if it weren't for Frank, this wouldn't be called the Joan N. and Norman Bluestone Foundation. So Frank, just from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for all that. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for making all those stars align. You were the gravitational force. I'm probably just making that up. I don't know. But thank you for making it happen. Really, really appreciate that. Okay. Yes, I am super excited to have Commissioner Lori Cumbo here. I talked about our BP. He kind of, he's a different kind of BP. She is a different kind of commissioner as well. So she's come to the garden before a couple times as well. And what I love about the commissioner is that you don't just, hear what she says when she talks about how passionate she is about arts and culture. Like, you see it. She is living it. She is breathing it. She is such an advocate, I think, on the government side to make sure that arts and culture get funded, because they are so important to our lives as New Yorkers. They're economic drivers, but they also feed our hearts and souls and minds, right? So she is a champion. She is everywhere. Follow her on Instagram if you don't, because you're gonna she really is present at so many different institutions throughout the city. So I'm very pleased to welcome Commissioner Lori Cumbo. Good morning. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for your patience. The journey from Staten Island is often a challenging one, but I thank you for giving the speech of your lifetime as I text you, because I did not want to miss this. And I didn't have your cell phone number, Sandra, or else I would have also texted you to give the speech of a lifetime. But thank you all so much for being here. As I'm hearing all of the incredible speeches and words today, it really exemplifies on how many levels how important partnership is. Because when you're hearing about the incredible investment from the Bluestone Foundation, all of the city council, borough president, Mayor Eric Adams, all of these folks working together, and the individuals that are here, each and every one of you contribute to making this space as beautiful as possible. So I'm really proud to be the commissioner. I have the greatest job in the city of New York, going to groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings. I sat in the role of city council, and that's a challenging one because you get to do the ribbon cuttings and the groundbreakings, but you also have to deal with a whole lot of other things that have nothing to do with groundbreakings or ribbon cuttings. So this is a lot more my speed. But I've been so proud to be able to celebrate and to make these critical investments in our communities. I've been here many times before, and you all are doing so many groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings every year. It seems you're doing another one, which speaks to the leadership of the board, of the staff, and I'm just so proud of all of you for the incredible work that you do each and every day. So my hat's off to you. We are proud to have this collaboration. $34 million from the city council, from the borough president, and Mayor Eric Adams. We are proud to put forward your tax-paying dollars. And what we wanted to do in this administration was to make sure that your tax-paying dollars came back to every single borough. We didn't want to continue the trajectory that had been the case for so long, that everybody pays taxes, but we centrally put our money in cultural investment in Manhattan. And Manhattan is great, it has a lot to offer, but we have to make sure everybody's paying taxes, everybody deserves world-class, state-of-the-art, recreational, cultural facilities right in their own backyard. That's why today is so important, because we're making sure that every single person in the city of New York knows that their culture and their history and their experiences are so valuable. And I've been proud to come here for so many events, such as the Orchid Festival, which I love. Please, I've come twice, and for the next time I come, please don't send me home with an orchid, because the first time I failed miserably. Then the second time I came back, I said, this orchid guy, we are going a long way. We are going to the next year, and I'm going to come back so proudly. But somewhere in the third or fourth month, it just didn't make it. So I will look, and I will celebrate, and I will admire those who have managed to protect our culture and our heritage in that way, and it's beautiful, but it's just not my thing. And I don't know why, right? It's not just me, right? I heard, cold water or ice water or all these different things people kept telling me. I know people in the audience like, who told you that? But it's beautiful. And this $34 million investment here is going to create a 365-day experience here so that you can come throughout all 4 seasons. It's going to create the opportunity for a kitchen to be able to cook and learn how to utilize all of the fresh food that we are managing throughout the city of New York. You're going to learn how to cook. That's another one that's not my thing. I try because I have a son, but he's growing, so something's happening right. I always get scared when I go to the doctor that they're going to do some analysis to say, like, he's missing this, and this. But fortunately, the appointments don't go like that. They don't measure all those things. So he keeps growing, and I'm happy about that. But the cooking that's going to happen here, the classrooms that are going to happen here, the opportunity to have our students come here and to learn how to be environmentalists, to learn about climate, to understand how to utilize the vegetables and the fruits that they are going to learn how to grow. It's really, really an incredible, incredible investment. So I thank all of you for coming, for celebrating, for investing, and continuing this partnership, because now more than ever, we've got to show what partnership looks like and what partnership can do. And when I come here and I see so many of our seniors doing the Tai Chi and exercising and walking, it's truly an inspirational place. The key to life is here. If you want to learn the secrets to longevity, if you want to learn the secret to how to live a long and healthy and prosperous life, it all starts here in the garden. And I want to thank my team. Our legal team came today, which had so much great work to do with this. Sam, Claire, and Brooke, our new intern. And I want to celebrate David Bryant, who is the capital manager for this project, who answers all of those complex questions that I don't know about, and he manages that and streamlines the process and brings it to fruition. I want to shout out our DDC, our partners there. They're all wearing the green. Give them a round of applause, because they do the real hard work and they answer those really tough questions very often in terms of timeline, when's it going to be finished, how quickly can we get this done, when can we have a completed project. They have to answer and implement all of those really challenging questions. So I will just close by saying we are really proud of this administration. Our mayor has actually done the greatest expansion of art and culture in New York City. He has increased the cultural budget for New York City by $45 million. It is the greatest investment in art and culture in New York City, and I am here to make sure that we are going to get it into every single borough in the city of New York. Thank you all so much, and thank you for this opportunity to serve you. Thank you so much, Commissioner Rory Cumbo. Always a pleasure to have you here. Where's David Bryant? Okay, there we go. Because I had in my notes too. Shout out to David Bryant, DCLA, because he just grounds us, right? Like, we sometimes call with like a panicked question. What do we do? This is all new to me. I never had to seek capital funding at my prior work or anything like that. David is, and I know Susan probably feels this way as well, but he is just someone who is able to very succinctly just tell us what we need to do, but in a very nice and gentle way. And David, I just want to say how much, you have made my job easier trying to figure out this labyrinth of, capital funding and processes and all that kind of stuff. So just shout out to you, and I know Rebecca feels 100% the same way as well. So we're very grateful for you, David. Thank you. Okay, so before we get to the part that I've been waiting for, to put on my hard hat and the shovel and all that, there are just many, many people that I want to thank and extend my appreciation to. And like I said, I know I'm going to forget someone, so just please forgive me in advance. As I mentioned before, we have this wonderful gift for to help fund the education building, the operations and the programming once it's open. The Bluestone Foundation, of course, the building is being named after Joan and Norm. But we also have other folks who stepped up as well, because they understand the importance of funding, and you need to have stability and able to do the work that you want to do. So I also want to mention, and please stand when we call your name. So Con Edison, they named our solarium. So Con, that's Nancy. Where's Mabel? There's Mabel as well from Con Edison. So they have named our solarium. Amarasia Bank has named a classroom. So Warren, come on, stand up. Jimmy, thank you. Very excited. These are going to be state-of-the-art classrooms. Connie Wingate named ground floor conference room. So Connie's right here in the front. Longtime supporter and friend to the garden. We want to give you your flowers today. Yay, thank you, Connie. Thank you. They couldn't be here today, but members of the Kupferberg family actually were live streaming. Hopefully they're watching. So I want to thank the Max and Selma Kupferberg Foundation. They named the terrace and the lounge of the new building, so thank you so much to the foundation. Also, we have Pauline Huang and David Wu, who named the second floor meeting room. Thank you, Pauline and David. And we also have our board chair, Raymond Jason, who named a second floor private office. So thank you, Raymond, for that. We also received some general donations towards the building fund, and that was from Saul and Gail Kupferberg. That was, I think, in the initial phases. Maureen Chen, who's here. Where's Maureen? Right over there. Andrea Woodner, and Ravina and Robert Sherling. So we're grateful to all those folks, but also everybody who supports the garden through their contributions, through their membership, and through showing up for us, especially when we need you. I want to acknowledge our board members. I mentioned them earlier, but I just want to shout out the ones who are here today: Nancy, James, Dimitri, Jenny, yes, along with Raymond and Sarah, and Ed Potter. How could I forget Ed? He's our treasurer. He keeps me on task, so thank you. And then also the incredible staff that we have here at QBG. So if you're a current staff person, just raise your hand. So we have Lisa, Helen, Dina, Lou, Francesca, Erin, Rebecca, Sophia, Anika, Elaine, who's an intern here, who's been awesome. And of course Jackie, who's live streaming the event. But I also wanted to just give special acknowledgement to people who worked on this building and with the design and with the whole process. And that Will Rodriguez, I don't know where Will is, but he's our maintenance supervisor. He's probably doing some maintenance right now. Dina Matzner, here's Dina, back there. Dina, who is our education manager, who was critical to the whole design process. Former staff Gennady Gurman, who's right back there, who came here today. I don't think Dylan is here, Dylan House, I wanted to shout him out. And of course, Patty Kleinberg, former education manager, right back there. And then of course the people who help bring in the resources, because that's really important too. So Annette Fanara is here, there's Annette. Stephanie Ehrlich, right next to her. And then I wanted to acknowledge Olivia Cothran, who couldn't be here today, but is just super excited to see all this happening. So thank you, former and current staff, for all that you do for the garden. I also wanted to acknowledge Community Board 7. We have Frank Macchio and Betsy, who are here from CB7, so we appreciate all of their support. And then also SLS Co. So, they are the ones who are going to build this thing. So Bill and John, thank you so much we know that you're going to make sure it is going to be a perfect building, right? We know. We're very, very confident. They've been awesome to work with. Okay, so I think again, if I left anyone out, thank you all for being here. This has been amazing, but I think we're ready to kind of go and do some groundbreaking. Yes? Yeah? Are we ready? Okay, so we're going to move this podium, and we're going to move the chairs, and then I'm going to put on my hard hat. We're going to give out the hard hats. I know DDC brought theirs.
But they're great. Ooh, no. Just wires. take another. We're gonna take over there. This place is like right back in the street. I will say that we got the request from information to sample. I read about how there was a big
Yeah, just that way, right? That's actually probably one of the it's like, I think over that
I don't know if there is. Yeah, I think that it was like whenever like you needed a website where there was sensitivity. Yeah, but it was based on like a written description of like a written description in the early language It's like it's like design details, kind of like but it's like passed down whether it's
All right.